The thunder cracked like a gunshot outside my Brooklyn apartment. But it was nothing compared to the bomb exploding in my chest when I yanked open the door. There he stood, soaked to the bone, his white dress shirt plastered against his chest, eyes wild with a storm fiercer than the one dumping sheets of rain on the city. Alex. The one who'd slipped through my fingers 2 years ago grabbed my wrist and whispered those words that shattered everything. I choose you. I froze, the world tilting under my feet. Rain dripping from his hair onto the welcome mat that read Home Sweet Chaos, a joke from my sister that suddenly felt like prophecy. Tomorrow, he was supposed to walk down the aisle in that godforsaken Connecticut church, trading vows with Emily, the girl his family had handpicked like a stock portfolio. But here he was, at 1:17 a.m. On the night before his wedding, choosing me instead. My heart hammered so loud I barely heard the downpour anymore. Only the echo of our last goodbye, when he'd walked away because it's not the right time. Theo. He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation, the door clicking shut behind him like a seal on our fate. Water pooled at his feet. But he didn't care. He just pulled me into his arms, his lips crashing against mine with the desperation of a man who'd been drowning in silence for too long. I tasted salt tears, rain, regret, and for a split second, I let myself believe this was real, that the years of stolen glances and hidden texts weren't just ghosts haunting my quiet life. But then reality clawed back. The ring on his finger glinted under the hallway light, a diamond promised to someone else. And I shoved him away, gasping. What the hell? Alex, you can't just tomorrow you're. I know. He cut in, voice raw, hands trembling as he cupped my face. I know. And that's why I'm here. I can't do it. Theo, I can't marry her. Not when every beat of my heart screams your name. His words hung heavy, laced with the fear I'd seen in his eyes 100 times before, the fear of his father's boardroom expectations, his mother's church lady smiles, the whole suffocating web of a life built on pretending. We'd met 3 years ago at that dive bar in the village. 2 lost souls nursing beers after bad days, me, fresh out of a breakup with a guy who couldn't handle my artist's whims. Him, buried under law firm hours and the weight of being the golden son. One laugh led to a kiss. One kiss to nights tangled in sheets, whispering dreams under the Manhattan skyline. But love like ours, in his world, it was a scandal waiting to erupt. I backed against the wall, my mind reeling through the wreckage. The apartment smelled of fresh paint from the canvas I'd abandoned on the easel, half-finished portrait of us, from happier days and takeout Thai from dinner alone. You chose her back then, I said, the accusation bitter on my tongue. When she showed up with that ring and your parents threw the party of the century, you let me walk away. It wasn't a question. It was the scar I'd carried, the one that made me swear off love, pouring everything into my art instead. Galleries in Soho had started noticing my work raw, emotional pieces about unspoken desires, but none of it filled the void he'd left. Alex's face crumpled, and he sank to his knees right there in the entryway, the tux pants soaking into the rug. I was a coward. Theo, 28, with the world expecting me to be straight, successful, settled. Emily. She was safe. But safe isn't love. You are. He looked up, those hazel eyes locking onto mine. And in that gaze, I saw the boy he'd been before the suits and the secrets, the one who'd danced with me at that underground queer club in Bushwick until dawn, who'd traced constellations on my skin and promised we'd run away to Provincetown someday. Tonight, I drove 4 hours in this storm because I realized I can't breathe without you. The wedding's in 12 hours. But if you'll have me, we leave now. Together. My breath hitched, a sob threatening to escape. Part of meth, broken part, wanted to slam the door, Send him back to his perfect lie. But the other part, the one that still woke up reaching for him in the dark, ached to pull him up and say yes. The clock on the wall ticked mercilessly, 1:20 a.m. Outside, lightning forked the sky, illuminating the fire escape where we'd once smoked joints and shared our fears. I slid down beside him, our shoulders touching, the warmth of him seeping through the chill. Tell me everything, I whispered. From the beginning. Why now? He exhaled shakily, leaning his head against the wall, our fingers intertwining like they used to. It started at the rehearsal dinner tonight. Emily looked beautiful. Everyone was toasting. But all I could think about was you. How you hate champagne, but love cheap red wine. How your laugh makes the room brighter. And then my dad pulled me aside, son. This is your future, and it hit me. My future without you is nothing. His voice cracked, and he turned to me, thumb brushing my cheek. I've been living half a life, Theo, hiding who I am because I thought it would make them proud. But pride, real pride, is choosing the truth. Choosing us. We sat there for what felt like hours, though it was minutes. The rain a relentless drumbeat against the windows. I thought of my own battles, the coming out at 22. The family that embraced me with open arms in our Jersey suburb. The friends who'd become family in the city's queer underbelly. Alex hadn't had that. His closet was lined with acceptance speeches and merger deals. No room for rainbows. What about her? I asked softly. Emily deserves better than a runaway groom. She does, he admitted, pain etching his features. I'll tell her the truth at dawn. But tonight is ours. He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, not the wedding ring, but a simple silver band, engraved with always on the inside. I bought this last week, in secret, for the day I was brave enough. Tears blurred my vision as I slipped it onto his finger, right over the other one. The metal was cool, a promise warmer than any vow. We rose together, stumbling into the living room where the city lights painted shadows on the walls. His kiss was slower this time, tender, like rediscovering a favorite song. Clothes fell away in whispers, bodies remembering paths long untrod. In the dim glow, we moved as one, every touch a confession, every gasp a release. The storm outside raged, but inside, it was calm, a fragile peace forged in the fire of what-ifs. As we lay entwined afterward, his head on my chest, listening to my heartbeat steady, doubt crept in like fog off the East River. What happens when the sun comes up? I murmured, fingers tracing the curve of his spine. Your phone's gonna blow up. Family, friends, the whole damn world. He lifted his head, eyes fierce. We face it. Together. I've got a bag in the car, clothes, passport, everything. We head west. Start fresh. Portland. Maybe. Or San Francisco. Anywhere but here. His smile was tentative, boyish, the one that had hooked me from day one. I've saved enough from the firm. We can make it work. I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But the weight of tomorrow pressed down the headlines his family could spin, the bridges we'd burn. Still, in that moment, with his breath warm against my skin, I chose hope. Okay, I said, voice steady for the first time. We run. Dawn was creeping in, gray and unforgiving, when his phone finally buzzed from the floor. He ignored it, pulling me closer. But I knew the clock was ticking, and with it, the life we'd both been chasing in shadows. Little did I know, the real storm was just beginning, not the rain, but the fury of a world unwilling to let go. The first rays of sun sliced through the blinds like accusations, turning the room gold and exposing the chaos we'd made of the sheets. Alex stirred beside me, his arms slung possessively over my waist. But the vibration of his phone shattered the illusion. It was Emily. 3 missed calls. A text lighting up the screen. Where are you? Everyone's panicking. Call me now. Guilt twisted in my gut like a knife. Not just for her, but for the ripple effect we'd unleashed. He groaned, reaching for the device. But I stopped him, my hand on his. You have to talk to her. Clean break. Alex. No half-truths. My voice was firmer than I felt. The artist in me knowing a blurred line makes a messy painting. He nodded, jaw tight, and stepped into the kitchen. Phone to his ear. I pulled on boxers and a hoodie, padding to the coffee maker, the aroma grounding me as his muffled words filtered through. I'm sorry. Em. I can't. I love someone else. A pause. Then her voice rose, sharp and wounded, echoing off the subway tiles. It's a man, isn't it? Theo. God. Alex. How long? He didn't lie, never had with her. I suspected, but each admission landed like punches. By the time he hung up, his face was ashen, shoulders slumped against the fridge. She hates me. Deserves to. But it's done. I handed him a mug, black and steaming, our fingers brushing in that electric way that still sent sparks up my arm. You're free, I said, though the words tasted hollow. Freedom for him meant chains for others, his parents' empire, built on old money and older prejudices, wouldn't yield easily. We dressed in silence, him borrowing my jeans that hung loose on his frame, me packing a duffel with essentials, sketchpad, favorite brushes, the silver band now on my own finger. His car was a sleek Audi, parked illegally down the block, ticket fluttering under the wiper like a mocking flag. As we merged onto the BQE, the skyline receding in the rear view, New York felt like a lover we'd outgrown fierce. Unforgettable, but time to move on. Alex cranked the radio, some indie folk tune about lost roads, and we sang off-key, hands clasped over the gear shift. For 2 hours. It was bliss, coffee stops in Jersey diners, stolen kisses at red lights, dreams spilling out like confetti. We'll get a place with a view, he said, eyes on the highway stretching toward Philly. You paint. Hell, I'll bartend if I have to. Anything but suits. But reality has a way of tailing you like a bad habit. His phone lit up again, his mother this time. Voicemail after voicemail piling up. We pulled over at a rest stop near Wilmington, the lot dotted with semis and families stretching legs. He played one, Alexander. This is unacceptable. Your father is furious. Get back here immediately. The ice in her tone chilled me through the speaker. Alex deleted it. But the damage was done. Tension coiled in his posture. The easy laughter gone. Keep going, I urged, squeezing his knee. They're bluffing. They always do. But doubt gnawed at me too. I'd seen glimpses of his world galas where he played the straight-laced air, me tucked away like a dirty secret. Once, at a holiday party I'd crashed, his dad had clapped him on the back, boasting about the wife and 5 kids plan, oblivious to the way Alex's smile never reached his eyes. We pushed on, crossing into Maryland, the landscape softening to rolling hills and autumn leaves like fire. By afternoon, we'd hit D.C., deciding on a whim to detour through the mall, hand in hand openly. For the first time in daylight, who wandered the monuments, Lincoln's stern gaze seeming to judge from afar. Tourists milled about, some glancing curiously, but no one cared. In this city of secrets, 2 men in love blended into the tapestry. See, I said, pulling him behind a cherry tree. Bare now, but promising spring. The world's bigger than Connecticut. He kissed me there, deep and unhurried, the wind whispering through branches. You make it feel that way. But as dusk fell, painting the reflecting pool in purples. His phone rang again, this time his best man. Voice frantic. Dude. The church is a zoo. Cops are involved because you didn't show. Emily's a wreck. Where the fuck are you? Alex's face drained of color. And he stepped away, murmuring apologies into the void. When he returned, eyes red-rimmed, he collapsed onto a bench. They think I was in an accident. Or worse. I have to call my parents. I nodded, hating the pull of the past, and watched as he dialed the call on speaker so I could share the burden. His father's voice boomed first. You selfish Litlido, you have any idea the embarrassment? Investors pulling out. The press sniffing around. Get home, or you're cut off. No trust fund. No firm. Alex's grip tightened on the phone. Dad, it's not about the money. I'm gay. I've always been gay. And I'm with Theo. We're not coming back. Silence stretched. Then an explosion, slurs I'd only heard in movies. Threats of disownment. Pleas wrapped in manipulation. Think of your mother. His dad growled. She's in the hospital from the stress. Alex faltered, glancing at me. And I shook my head, no guilt trips. Not now. I love you both, he said finally, voice breaking. But I love him more. Goodbye. He ended the call, phone clattering to the ground, and buried his face in his hands. I held him as sobs racked his body, the monuments standing sentinel to his unraveling. I'm sorry, he whispered against my shoulder. For all of it. Don't be, I murmured, rocking him gently. This is the start, not the end. Night fell fully then, stars pricking the sky above the Capitol. And we drove on. The weight lighter somehow. Shared. We crashed at a cheap motel off I-95. The kind with neon vacancy signs and thin walls. But in that sagging bed, we found solace. His touches were reverent, mapping every inch as if memorizing. And I returned the favor, whispering affirmations into his skin. You're enough. We're enough. Sleep came fitful, dreams haunted by wedding bells and slamming doors. But morning brought resolve. Over greasy eggs at a truck stop, we plotted, sell his car in Richmond, buy a beater for the rest of the haul. I called my sister in Jersey, bless her chaotic heart, who wired cash without questions. Just a proud of you, little bro. Kick ass out west. By noon, we were Virginia bound, the Blue Ridge Mountains rising like a promise. But fate, that cruel jester, wasn't done. As we crested a hill, blue lights flashed in the Marora cop. Sirens wailing. Shit. Alex breathed, pulling over. My pulse thundered. Was it the ticket? Or had his family tracked us? The officer approached, hand on holster, peering in. Mr. Harrington, we've had reports of a missing person. You fit the description. Alex's hand found mine under the dash, squeezing. I'm not missing, officer. Just eloping. The cop raised a brow, glancing between us, then chuckled dryly. Well, your folks say otherwise. Got a bolo out. Mind if I radio in? Tension thickened the air, seconds stretching, until he stepped back. All clear. But word of advice, family drama's a bitch. Drive safe. He waved us on, and we exhaled in unison, laughter bubbling up hysterical and freeing. That close call bonded us deeper, turning fear into fuel. We detoured through Shenandoah, hiking a trail at sunset, hands linked as leaves crunched underfoot. This is us now, Alex said, spinning me under a canopy of gold. No more hiding. I believed him. In that golden hour, as we kissed with the valley sprawling below, night found us in Asheville, North Carolina, artsy haven that felt like a soft landing. We checked into a B&B run by a couple who'd fled the city years ago. their knowing smiles welcoming. Over wine on the porch, stars blanketing the Smokies. Alex opened up more, the therapy he'd started in secret. The journal of letters to me he'd never sent. I was terrified of losing everything. He confessed. But losing you, that's what broke me. I shared too many fears of being the side guy forever. The loneliness that fueled my art. Your choice tonight. It healed something in me. We made love under quilted covers. Slow and exploratory. Bodies sinking like they'd never parted. Afterward, tangled and spent, he traced my tattoosa rainbow phoenix on my ribs and murmured, "Marry me. Not today, but someday. For real." Yes, I breathed, heart soaring. But as sleep claimed us, his phone powered off till now buzzed once before dying. A final text from Emily. I hope he makes you happy. Be brave. Forgiveness. Unexpected and pure. Sealed the night. Waking to birdsong in Asheville felt like emerging from a cocoon. The B&B's floral wallpaper and clawfoot tub a world away from Brooklyn's grit. Alex was already up, sketching clumsily on my potta stick figure us holding hands atop a mountain. My masterpiece. He grinned, handing it over with coffee. We laughed, the sound light and unburdened. But beneath it hummed the undercurrent of pursuit. His family wouldn't quit. Power like theirs didn't bend. It broke. We hit the road by 10, aiming for Chattanooga. The Appalachians folding around us like protective arms. The drive was storytelling gold, him recounting law school pranks. Me spinning tales of gallery openings gone wrong. At a roadside stand, we bought apple cider and fudge, feeding each other bites that dissolved into kisses. Sticky and sweet. Normal, I said, wiping his chin. I could get used to this. But normal shattered at the Tennessee line. A news alert pinged on the rental radio Statiquai AM station, droning about a high society wedding fiasco in the Northeast. Groom vanishes hours before vows. Family fears foul play. Alex's knuckles whitened on the wheel, and he snapped it off. They're painting me as the victim. Or the villain. I rubbed his thigh, steadying. Let them. We're writing our own story. Chattanooga welcomed with river views and swing bridges. A charm that begged lingering. We parked and walked the waterfront. The Tennessee churning lazy below. Tourists snapped pics of the aquariums, oblivious to our private drama. Remember Coney Island? Alex asked, leaning on the rail. That Ferris wheel. When you dared me to kiss you at the top. I nodded. The memory vivid, summer heat. Cotton candy tongues. His whisper of, what if they see? Now, under broad daylight. He kissed me anyway. Bold and unapologetic. A family nearby cheered. An old woman with a rainbow pin winking approval. Pride swelled in my chest, not the parade kind, but the quiet, earned sort. Lunch was barbecue at a hole in the wall. Ribs falling off bones. Sauce staining fingers we licked clean. Over beers. He broached the heavy. I quit the firm via email last night. Effective immediately. My fort paused midair. Just like that. He shrugged. Eyes distant. Burned the bridge. But bridges lead back to cages. Admiration mixed with worry. Money was finite. Dreams infinite but fragile. Afternoon blurred into a hike up Lookout Mountain. The incline railway chugging us skyward. At the summit, panoramas unfolded, rivers snaking through valleys. Cities twinkling promises. We spread a blanket from the trunk, picnicking on gas station snacks. Bodies reclining as clouds drifted. What if we stay? I mused. Head on his lap. Build here. You could teach law. Or, I don't know, write thrillers about runaway grooms. He chuckled. Fingers in my hair. Tempting. But Wes calls. Fresh start. No echoes. Dusk brought a hitch, His credit card declined at a gas station. Frozen, he muttered, handing over cash. A quick call to his banker discreet friend from college confirmed parents had locked accounts. For his safety. Panic flickered, but we pushed it down. Pooling our wallets, my savings from a recent sale. His emergency stash. 2,000. I tallied. Enough to Memphis. Then figure it. Night fell as we crossed into Arkansas. The Ozarks hulking shadows. A storm brewed. Lightning stitching the horizon. Forcing us off at Little Rock. The motel was seedier than Asheville's. Neon buzzing, vacancy like a warning. But the clerk, a burly guy with a Confederate flag, taitied us without comment. Inside. Peeling wallpaper and a bed that sagged. But we made it ours. Takeout pizza on the floor. Cards from a battered deck. Strip poker escalating to laughter and limbs. In the afterglow. Sweat cooling. Alex's vulnerability surfaced. I dream of them sometimes, Dad's face when I told him. Like I killed his legacy. I pulled him close. Heart aching. Legacies aren't bloodlines. They're choices. You chose love. He nodded against my neck. But sleep evaded. His breathing uneven. Outside. Thunder rolled. Mirroring the turmoil. Morning broke humid and heavy. Coffee from a thermos chasing away cobwebs. We drove silent stretches. Radio scanning for neutral ground country twang giving way to blues. At a pullout overlooking the Arkansas River. We stopped. Skipping stones. The plinks punctuating confessions. I almost married her. He admitted. Arm around my waist. Rings picked. Vows rehearsed. But in the mirror that morning, I saw a stranger. I turned, cupping his face. Now you see you. And that's beautiful. Memphis hit like a fever dream. Beale Street pulsing with blues and barbecue smoke. Elvis's ghost in every neon sign. We splurged on ribs at Central. Sauce dripping. Jazz sax wailing. Post-dinner. We wandered to the riverfront. Mississippi muddy and mighty. Fireflies danced. And under their glow, Alex dropped to one knee, not proposal. But play. Dance with me. Mr. Artist. No music but the water's lap and our heartbeats. We swayed. His cheek on mine. I love you, he said. Simple and profound. But joy cracked when a call came from his sister. The one ally in his family. Alex. Please. Mom's really sick, heart palpitations. Dad's lawyering up. Talking restraining orders if you don't come home. Her voice trembled. Caught between loyalties. He paced the balcony of our Riverview Airbnb first home on the run, phone clenched. Tell them I'm safe. Happy. And that I'm sorry. But this is me. Click. He sank onto the bed. Defeated. What if I destroyed them? I knelt before him. Hands on knees. You didn't destroy. You freed yourself. And ripples. They reach everyone eventually. That night, we made fierce love. Bodies battling doubts. Reclaiming agency in gasps and grips. Dawn painted the Peabody Ducks marching absurdly below. A reminder, life persists. Parade or not. Pushing west. Oklahoma's plains stretched endless. Wind whipping through open windows. Tulsa's oil rigs dotted the horizon like sentinels. At a diner. Pie for breakfast. We mapped finances, sell the Audi in Dallas. Hitch to Austin. Music scene there. I said, you sing like shit. But I paint to anything. He laughed. Genuine. The sound a bomb. Yet shadows lengthened. A wrong turn led to a podunk town. Gas station clerk sneering at our joined hands. Ferry boys. Huh. Keep driving. The slur stung. A throwback to cruelties we'd fled. Alex's jaw set. But I pulled him out. Whispering. Their hate's small. Ours is big. In the car. He fumed. then softened. You're my anchor. Theo. Dallas loomed by evening. Skyline sharp against sunset. We ditched the Audi at a chop shop shady but cash quick emerging with a rattling Ford pickup. Freedom's new skin. Crashing at a queer-friendly hostel. Bunk beds and bunk stories with travelers. One couple. Married a decade. Shared tips. Therapy early. Date nights always. Inspiration sparked. We vowed the same. Night on the town, deep Elm bars. Live bands thumping. We danced sweaty and close. Bodies electric. Ignoring stares. A drag queen dedicated a song to the runaways. And we toasted. Shots burning bright. Back at the hostel. Tipsy and tangled. Alex murmured dreams. House with a studio. Garden for your herbs. Kids maybe. Someday adopted. Ours. My heart expanded. Envisioning it. But morning mail forwarded from Brooklyn brought a letter from his parents' lawyer. Cease contact or face consequences. We burned it in a park trash can. Ashes scattering like old skin. Let them chase ghosts. Alex said. Resolute. Into Texas heartland. Panhandle winds howling. Amarillo's Cadillac ranch half-buried cars graffitied wild mirrored our chaos. We sprayed love winds on a hood. Paint fresh and defiant. Laughter echoed. But fatigue crept. Days blurred. Funds dwindling to hundreds. Albuquerque's adobe glow welcomed at dusk. Hot air balloons ghosting the sky like escaped wishes. We camped cheap outside town. Stars carpet overhead. Fire crackling tails. Remember our first trip. The Cape. Alex reminisced. Clams and queers. No cares. I nodded. Feeding him S-mores. This tops it. Love that night was primal. Earth and sky witnesses. His body arching under mine like a bow released. Forever. He gasped. And I sealed it with a kiss. The desert dawn painted the Sandia Mountains pink. And we broke camp with renewed fire. The pickup's engine coughing but compliant. Arizona beckoned. Saguaro's standing sentinel as we crossed into its red rock embrace. Phoenix's sprawl hit first heat mirage shimmering highways. Cacti mocking our meager funds. Air conditioning job. I joked. Sweat beading. Alex smirked. Or male modeling of got the cheekbones. We skirted the city. Heading for Sedona's vortexes. Spiritual hum promising clarity. A hitchhiker thumbed us near Flagstaff tattooed vet named Ray. Stories of war's inner and outer. Love's the real battle, he said, eyeing our bands. Dropped at a trailhead. His nod lingered. Fight good. We hiked Cathedral Rock. Steep switchbacks testing lungs. Summit views stealing breath valleys, swirling energy. Us at the eye. At the top. Wind whipped. Alex pulled me close. Feel that. It's us spooling. Pushing. Alive. We made out shameless. Hikers whooping below. Descent brought blisters and burgers. Picnic style on tailgate. Vortex worked. I said. Doubts gone. Lies. But hopeful ones. Night in a Sedona campground. Teepee rental whimsical. Stars wheeled. And around the fire pit. We roasted marshmallows. Shadows dancing. His phone recharged sparingly held one bar. Sister's text. Mom's stable. Dad's raging. But proud. Deep down. Alex teared up. Vulnerability cracking. I miss her. I held space. No fixes. Just presence. Later. In the teepee's canvas glow. Touches healed. Slow. Exploratory. Mapping scars. Grand Canyon's rim dawned epic. Colorado River a green thread far below. We drove the south rim. Stops at overlooks vertigo-inducing. Jump. He teased. Arm around me. Only with parachute you. Laughter. But depth mirrored fears. How deep could we fall? A ranger chat turned profound, canyons carved by persistence. Not force. Apt. Funds hit critical in Kingman. Pawned his watch family heirloom for gas and groceries. Symbolic. He quipped. But eyes shadowed. Route 66 relics dotted the drive, motels frozen in time. Diners with pie signs. We stopped at one. Jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. Booth's vinyl cracked. Over coffee. He confessed, nights before the wedding. I Googled how to come out at 30. Clicked away scared. I squeezed his hand. You clicked through. That's brave. Nevada's loneliness amplified empty stretches. Vegas lights a distant lure. We bypassed the strip. Too garish for our raw edge. Camping in the desert instead. Joshua Tree's clawed sky. Fireflies absent, but fireflies in us. Around the blaze. Guitars from a distant RV strumming folk. We slow danced barefoot on sand. This song, he murmured. Our anthem. Bodies aligned. Hearts syncopated. Dawn brought coyote howls. And we packed. Dust-caked. Into California. Sierra Nevada's rising. Pines scenting air. Yosemite's gates loomed. Permit snag last minute via app. Valley floor astounded. El Capitan sheer. Yosemite falls thundering. We hiked mist trail. Spray soaking. Rainbows arcing. At Vernal Fall base. Breathless. He proposed for real and bended knee. Pocket ring glinting. Theo. Be my husband. Build this life. Tears mixed with mist. Yes. Choked out. Sealing with kiss under cascade. Euphoria carried us to a climber's camp. Tent shared with strangers' tales. Dinner communal chili and stories of peaks conquered. One guy? Queer and grizzled. Shared. Marriage saved me from myself. Hope bloomed. We fit here. Among free spirits. But paradise pressured, his parents' PI. Her sister's warning text, they're hiring trackers. Stay hidden. Paranoia prickled. Every face suspect. We cut hike short. Drove nocturnal. Through Tioga Pass. Snow-dusted despite October. To Mono Lake's Tufa Towers alien. Ethereal. Like us. Alex said. Standing despite odds. We waded shallows. Mud-sucking boots. Laughter echoing. Night at a lakeside pullout. Truck bed our bed. Blankets cocooning. Love urgent. Stars witnesses, him atop. Eyes locked. Rhythm building to crescendo. Mine. He growled. And I was utterly. San Francisco approached like a beacon. Golden Gate fog-shrouded. We crossed at twilight. Bridge humming. City lights winking welcome. Haight-Ashbury's hippie ghosts lingered in vintage shops. We browsed. Fingers laced. Buying thrift teas. Love is love, ironic yet true. Coffee at a Castro cafe. Rainbow flags fluttering. Felt like homecoming. Baristas high-fived. Fresh blood. One grinned. Welcome to the family. We couch-surfed with a theater troupe Wild Hearts. Queer as the day crashing on a pullout in their Victorian. Dinner, potluck paella. Wine flowing. Stories of pride floats and protests. You too glow. A drag king noted. Runaway magic. Alex shared snippets. Laughs masking ache. I sketched the group. Lines fluid. Morning fog burned off. And we wandered, Alcatraz views from piers. Sourdough from Boudin. At the Legion of Honor. Monet's whispered of fleeting beauty. Your turn, he said, buying me oils from a street vendor. I painted him, then quick study on Pier Piling's hazel eyes capturing soul. But Idol interrupted, voicemail from unknown his dad's PI. Voice oily, Mr. Harrington. We know you're in Frisco. Come home. Or we expose your friend. Heart stopped. Exposure meant doxing. Smears. Alex paled. Deleting. How close? I fretted. 2. We bolted south. Coastal highway twisting like veins. Big Sur's cliffs dropped to Pacific roar. Seals barking approval. Stops at viewpoints. Elephant seals lounging. Us mirroring lazy. Content. Picnic of in-and-out animal style, everything in a blanket. Waves crashing symphony. Night in a Cambria inn. Whale watching balcony. Gray giants breached. Tails fluke slapping. Migrations. Alex mused. Like us. Love there was tidal, surging, ebbing, profound. His fingers traced my phoenix. Rise with me. Monterey's aquarium mesmerized next kelp forest swaying. Otters tumbling. Playful. I said. Hand in his. Us. But tension trailed. Gas station in Paso Robles. A tale. Paranoia peaked. Into LA basin. Sprawl swallowing. We dodged Hollywood. Crashing in Venice beach boardwalk buskers. Muscle beach oiled. Skated rink handhold. Wind salty. Dinner truck tacos. Sunset painting sky fire. City of dreams. He toasted. But dreams darkened. Sisters call, dad's offering deal, return. Get therapy. Keep money. Or nothing. Alex's laugh bitter. Therapy for being me. Refusal firm. But fracture showed homesickness for the boy he'd been. I held him on the sand. Waves lapping doubts. We're the deal now. Night in a hostel pod. Bodies curled. Whispers weaving futures, gallery shows. Law clinic for queer youth. Hope rekindled. But dawn brought rain LA's rare tears. Pushing to San Diego. Border town's edge. Balboa Park museums called. We wandered gardens. Orchids exotic. Blooms in adversity. A plaque read. APT. Lunch picnic. Then beach, La Jolla Cove. Seals sunning. Swam nude at dusk. Water cool. Bodies buoyant. But climax brewed. Hotel check-in. Clerk hesitant, Harrington. Message. Envelope weighted parents ultimatum. Return by week's end. Or disinherit fully. Plus lawsuit for emotional distress to Emily. Alex's hands shook opening it. My blood boiled. Fuck them. I snarled. We're ghosts now. He nodded. But eyes haunted. I need to end it. Call to dad. Speaker. Raw. No deal. I choose Theo. Sue if you must. I'll countersue for years lost. Line dead. Silence heavy. Then catharsis. Tears. Rage. Release. We walked Mission Beach. Bonfire pits glowing. Joined a circle strangers sharing sticks roasted marshmallows. Stories flowing. One man. Came out at 40. Best decision. Solidarity wrapped us. Love that night ferocious. Hotel room. Mirrors reflecting frenzy. Bodies colliding in defiance. Choose me always. He panted. Always. Echoed. Portland loomed next. Rain-washed haven. Over cascades. Evergreens dripping. City embraced. Food carts steaming. Bridges arched. We found a sub-Letany Pearl District studio. View of Burnside. First night, Thai delivery. Bed in. Exploring like newlyweds. Weeks blurred. Job hunts him at a co-op gallery. Him tutoring LSATs online. Funds stretched. But community caught us. Potlucks. Queer book club. His parents' silence golden. Sisters' visits bridged. One rainy eve. Knees in the studio. He proposed again proper. Candlelit. Theo. Marry me tomorrow. Courthouse yes. Rings exchanged simple gold. Vows whispered. In storms and sun. I choose you. Honeymoon local. Powell's books. Then Coast Drive. But peace fractured subtly. Anonymous email. We see you. Paranoia returned. But we faced it. Therapy together. Building armor. Climax crested months in. PI cornered us at a farmer's market-suited thug. Camera flashing. Mr. Harrington. A word. Alex stood tall. Tell them we're happy. End of story. Walked away. My hand anchor. Backlash hit. Tabloid blurb. Heiress jilted for lover. Runaway groom's queer escape. Phones rang reporters. Old friends. We went dark. Unplugging. Retreating to cabin in the woods. There. By fireplace. Truths poured. His guilt. My insecurities. We're flawed. I said. But whole. Love reborn gentle. Massages. Talks till dawn. Resolution dawned clear. Letter to family joint. From us. We forgive. Door open. On our terms. No reply. But weight lifted. Years folded. My exhibit choices sold out. His novel Midnight Vows published. Kids came to boys. Adopted. Chaos joyful. Anniversaries marked with door recreations. Rain or shine. That night long ago. It birthed us. In Portland's drizzle. Alex at my door metaphoric now says still. I choose you. And I. Every time. Open wide. In the quiet aftermath of our cabin retreat. With the world's noise muted by pine-scented walls. Alex and I began the slow rebuild. The tabloid storm had passed like a squall. Leaving damp earth but fertile ground. We returned to Portland fortified. The studio now cluttered with adoption papers and half-finished canvases depicting our boys-to-be, Jamie. A freckled firecracker with Alex's hazel mischief. And Luca. Quiet and thoughtful. Echoing my blue-eyed introspection. Fatherhood wasn't in the escape plan. But it rooted us. Turning flight into foundation. Morning started with chaos toddlers tugging at pant legs. Coffee spilling as we juggled sippy cups and sketch pads. Alex, ever the planner, mapped our days, drop-offs at the co-op preschool, then his shifts at the legal aid clinic where he fought for queer families like ours. Irony's a bitch. He'd quip, kissing me goodbye. "Ty ask you." I'd head to the gallery, easel in tow, painting portraits that captured the raw edges of love couples mid-laugh, mid-fight, mid-revelation. My series Doorways went viral. A TEDx invite following. But success tasted sweetest shared over takeout and wine. Boys asleep upstairs. Yet scars lingered. Alex's nightmares woke us, some night sweating altars morphing to courtrooms. His father's voice thundering disownment. I'd hold him, murmuring, "We're here." Solid. Therapy helped. Our counselor, a no-nonsense dyke who called bullshit on avoidance. Grief for the family you lost. She'd say, "Mourn it. Then build." We did. Holidays with my Jersey clan. Raucous and rainbow-wrapped. Sisters' visits from the east. Bearing contraband cannoli and updates on his mom's quiet thaw letters arriving in signed. Apologies veiled in recipes. One spring, the thaw cracked open. A knock echoed our door, literal echo of that stormy night. Alex answered. Me hovering. Boys peeking from stairs. There stood his mother. Silver-streaked and frail. Suitcase in hand. May I? No embrace. Just entry. The air thick with unsaid. Over tea. Words tumbled. Her hospital stay. The divorce from his dad. Couldn't abide his hate anymore. The therapy that peeled back her own closets. I was wrong. She whispered. Eyes on our rings. Proud now. Grandmother. Jamie clambered into her lap first. Luca wary but warming. Alex teared. Walls crumbling. Stay? He said. She did. For weeks teaching pie crusts. Reading bedtime tales of far-off princes who chose hearts over crowns. When she left, a bridge mended. Fragile but standing. Summer brought our 5th anniversary. Celebrated not with fanfare, but a road trip Redux pickup rattling west to east. Boys strapped in. Sing-alongs to bad 80s. We detoured Manhattan. My old hood. Skyline still piercing. At our Brooklyn stew printed for nostalgia reenacted, rain simulated by sprinklers. I choose you, growled playful. Laughter pealed. Luca giggling. Daddy silly. Back west. Challenges mounted, gallery funding cut. Alex's clinic facing shutdown from budget hawks. We rallied fundraisers at the bar where we'd met strays. Art auctions blending his prose with my visuals. Community surged, the drag queen from years back emceeing. Ray the vet donating proceeds. Families chosen. He toasted. We thrived. Scars to stars. Fall deepened. Leaves turning. When the final ghost surfaced. His father aged. Alan emailed coordinates. A neutral cafe in Seattle. Talk. Alex debated. Me neutral. Your call. He went. Me pacing Portland with boys at the park. Hours later. Return, weary but unbowed. He apologized. Sort of. Regrets. Son. Live well. No reconciliation full. But closure door ajar. Not forced. Winter blanketed snow. Holidays hybrid, my family flying out. His mother joining. Table groaning with turkey and tamales. Toasts rang, to choices. To us. New Year's. Under mistletoe rigged by tots. Alex pulled me close. Still choose you. Kiss deepened. Promises renewed. Years spun, Jamie's soccer goals. Luca's violin recitals. My retrospective at MoMA from shadows to doorsteps drew crowds. Alex's second book a bestseller. We mentored runaways. Founded a foundation for queer youth escapes literal safe houses. Metaphorical maps. On our 10th. That door again, him at threshold. Suit rumpled. Boys flanking with signs. Renew. Vows refreshed. Cake smashed. Dance floor our kitchen. Life's Kingsteen rebellions. Health scarcest. But we bent. Not broke. Now. Gray threading our hair. Porch swings creak to tales retold. That night. He says. Hand in mine. Best choice ever. I lean in. Every night since. Under Portland stars. Storm-scarred but shining. Our story endures not perfect. But profoundly ours. Love. Chosen daily. Defies all doors.